are back with Let's Talk Autism, and we have a very special guest coming to us. Well, she's not coming to us from Scotland, but she lives in Scotland. She's in Georgia today, Laura Doherty. Hi, Laura.
Good morning. How are you?
Very, very good. Welcome to the show. Laura is the mother of 4 boys. If that doesn't keep her busy enough, 13, 7, 5, and 2. Her 2 youngest sons, Logan and Daugherty, have autism.
Really?
Okay, and she's an IT consultant, runs her own blog, and co-founded the Waggy Dog Project in 2017. Laura, tell us what the Waggy Dog Project is.
The Waggy Dog Project was set up by myself and a really good friend of mine called Sarah Nisbet. Obviously, having 2 young children on the spectrum, there wasn't a lot available for our children. So we set up the Waggy Dog Project to provide social experiences, clubs, Lego clubs, and we also do autism assistance dogs. And we now branched out and we do a sort of read to me scheme where we go into schools and do some therapy sessions and allow children that are perhaps a little shy to read to the dogs as well.
Oh, okay. So this was Scotland's first special needs dog club?
Yes, we have the only additional needs dog club in the whole of Scotland, and that allows children, not just with autism, but other additional needs as well, to be able to come along and have their own club that they can regularly go to and interact with the dogs. Some of them have their own puppies or older dogs, and some of them have access to our dogs.
Now, Laura, you're busy and you got your hands full. What inspired you to do this?
He's my second youngest son now, Logan. He was diagnosed with autism at 3, and that was a very steep learning curve for me. I knew nothing about autism, but I knew when he was born that he was just wired a little bit differently from my 2 older children. I did my best to find out, everything I could about autism. And anybody that knows me knows that, if I put my heart and soul into something, I do it to the nth degree. So we set up the Waggy Dog Project to be able to give children similar to Logan access to clubs where they can meet friends and interact on their terms, but also for the parents, because it can be a lonely life.
It certainly can. I'm wondering too, because Logan is 4 now, but you have another child now that came after him, was diagnosed on the spectrum. I know we have a lot of people that are watching today, Laura, that have multiple children on the spectrum, and maybe if you could just talk a little bit about what that was like when you realized that you had another son on the spectrum.
So, when we went through the testing with Logan, who's the second youngest, he's actually now 5. So he got all the genetic testing and everything done. Also, I'm obviously an older mum, so I was pregnant at the time when Logan was going through testing. They did some testing of me as well. I knew the ratio would be a little bit higher, and also because I knew it was a boy, that it's not isolated, obviously, to boys, but it's predominantly, there's a higher occurrence with boys. So I knew that potentially there could be a higher risk. And to be honest, probably the first 6 months when Rory was born, I thought that perhaps he wasn't going to be autistic. He wasn't going to have autism. But actually, once we got through the first 6 months, it became sort of more and more obvious. And actually, he's lower functioning than Logan is. Logan is quite high functioning. Rudy is lower. So his speech is a long way off. I would say he's probably about 1 year delayed.
Okay.
But thank goodness you've caught it at this point, because one year is something that you can catch up on.
Right.
Whereas
Absolutely.
It's great that you caught it. But let's talk a little bit more about the Waggy Dog, because this benefits not only your 2 sons, but so many other people in the community. What have been some of the things that you have seen, Laura, happen as a result of having this program? What are some of the stories that you've got of kids making progress?
That's something that's really exciting. Initially, when we just started with a Lego club. My friend and I, Sarah, the other co-founder. So we started off small with a Lego club, and the first few weeks when the children came along, it was obviously different for them. The lighting, the sounds, different people, different adults, just very strange for them. But because we kept the setup the same every time the children came along, they became familiar with it. So by around week 3, week 4, they started to recognise the other children's faces, and they start to create those sort of relationships, and call the other children their friends, because they're seeing them on a regular basis, the same setup. And we saw that the children's faces were actually starting to light up. They were starting to engage, and start to share the Lego with the other children in their own way. Not as you would normally expect to see in a regular Lego club, but, in their own way. And we then started to look at other clubs. So we do lots of different things with, like Halloween is coming up, which can be quite a difficult time for our children. So it's done in a way that the stimuli is a little bit lower for them, but they recognise their friends because it's the same children and the same adults that are coming along. And they're also part of creating some of the decorations and those type of things. We do all sorts of fun days where they can come along, a bouncy castle, which can be typically quite difficult for children on the spectrum to go on with, mainstream children. And they get access to these sort of experiences, and then it becomes the normal for them.
And you also place these dogs with private homes, is that correct?
Yes, the dog program is a separate thing. We then branched out into that because I looked at a dog for my son Logan, because when he goes out, he finds it difficult to go through doors. So in stores and things like that, it can be very difficult for him. So he has his dog called Gatsby, who's a black lab. And what happens is that the children's focus is then on the dog and not the environment that they're in. So we currently have 26 dogs ranging from puppy through to about 2 years old that are with our families, and they're working with them to become full, assistance dogs. I think in the US you call them service dogs.
Uh-huh.
And those dogs then have access to go into the stores, on public transport, that type of thing.
Who trains your dogs for you?
We have qualified trainers. We initially started with, we had one club in West Lothian, which is on the east coast of Scotland, and we have just opened a new place in the west coast, more on the Glasgow side, and that's again a qualified trainer. And we're actually, to meet demand, we are now looking at a third centre, because we've grown quite a lot in 1 year.
Right.
Absolutely. And now you're expanding to Georgia. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I found, I'm not sure what it's like in every state, but the awareness is not the same across it's the same in Scotland. We've done quite a lot of work in Scotland about raising awareness on autism and, acceptance. And I found since coming to Georgia that, I am getting people coming up and talking to me and asking me about the dog and about my son, and I'm happy, obviously, to talk about that. But I would like to branch out here as well, in the US, and that is my plan, to be able to have an assistance dog program here as well, and specifically for children and young adults with autism. But to be a sort of recognised brand on this side, and also, setting up clubs and things, because I've still to find clubs here.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely, it's a wonderful idea. So where in Georgia are you right now working on developing a program there?
So I'm just outside Atlanta just now. And through our website and our Facebook page, I've managed to get in touch with a couple of people. So I'm working quite closely at the moment, and about to formalise a relationship with a trainer on this side. And I also have a female dog that hopefully I should then be able to develop a breeding program, because we have a Logan's Gift where we donate one dog out of each litter that we have to a family that require, that meet our needs.
What an amazing thing. So
Tell us how people can reach you. You mentioned your Facebook site and your website. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so we have an online presence. We have our website is www.thewaggydogproject.com, and we also have a very active Facebook page, which again is the Waggy Dog Project. It's very active. There's lots of updates regularly on there and what we're doing.
Okay.
just amazing.
Yes, the one small that you got this idea, now it's growing at such a tremendous rate.
Yeah.
What are your long-term goals?
Long-term goals,
Yes.
take over the world.
All right.
Okay. I don't doubt you will do that.
I don't doubt it either. And with such a
Yeah.
lovely accent, too.
Yes.
I could just spend all day listening to you, Laura.
Thank you so much.
Truly wonderful, and we hope you're having a good time in Georgia, and that the Georgian South is treating you well. Is everybody being nice?
It's very hot.
Oh, well, there's
Yeah.
that it is that time of year.
Yeah, it's very hot.
Hopefully a peach will mitigate that for you.
Yes, the Georgia peaches are lovely.
They are. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Good
Thank you
luck
for
to
being
you.
such an inspiration and doing this wonderful project. Keep us in touch. Keep in touch with us.
Right, as you grow, so we
Yes.
can let people know about it.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Okay.
Thank you, and good
Bye-bye.
luck to you and your family.